Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader. It's Tuesday night, March the 8th. These are the charts of the day. On the long side, stocks are still acting well. We're seeing a lot of upside movement in new stocks breaking out, following through, etc. Here we have a chart on ACTG, stock we've been following for months now. If you look at the long-term chart, you'll see a beautiful rising channel for the last couple of years. It's taken this from under $2 to over 35. Incredible 17% fold move, but over the last year or so, you can see this channel here calls for a move to the top of that channel. Right now, it looks like it should even accelerate beyond that, but my short-term target at the top of that channel right now is about 39.40. Today, the stock jumped $1.65 or nearly 5%. Volume picked up, so did technicals. It looks like that will follow through to the upside. The short-term support is around the $32 range. AHD. Now, Atlas Energy has been in a rising configuration for a couple of years now, but over the last 6-7 months in particular, it's formed this nice channel. Top of that channel calls for a move up towards 24, my next trading target. Today, the stock popped 207 or 11.7% on over 5 million shares, the heaviest volume in a long time. Matter of fact, as far back as we can see on the chart. So things are coming to a head on this one, but it may reach 24 before we see any major profit taking. Support short term around the 17.5 level. That's AHD. BLTI today popped out of this little 2-day flag and jumped 30 cents or 8.3% on 1.25 million. That's the heaviest volume in about a month. And sure looks like the top of the channel up around the $5 range may be tested, but at least 4 3/4 thereabout. The short-term support being around 340. Calidus Software, CALD, a new one we spotted today, particularly after it broke through this double top right there, and is now accelerating. Perhaps a move to the top of the channel up around the 785.8 zone is what we're looking for, so a couple points potentially. And today's low around the 620 range is just above where the support area is, around the $6 area. So don't want to see it go back below that as the short-term support level. CYTX popped out of a 3-day flag and ran for 45 cents or 7% on nearly 1 million shares. Looks like that's breaking out and may run for a move up towards the top of the channel around the $8 level as well. It's currently 690. Short-term support down around the 585.95 zone. EBIX forming a 3-day flag here after a nice run for the last few days. I like the action. I like the way it looks, and particularly after coming down to 27.59 this morning. Came back about $1 to close to 28.57. Only down 2 cents on the day after being down a buck. Good action there. Target 33.5. Support 26.20 area. HMIN. Like the action here. I like the way this 6-month or 5-month downtrend was broken with thrust last week. It ran up to resistance and backed off. Today came on again from the 36.75 low to close at 39.25, a nice 2.5 point swing, up $1.42 net on the day on increasing volume and technical surging. The stock looks like if it breaks out right above here, we could see a quick run up towards the 42 level, my short-term target, secondary target around, let's call it 42 to 43 zone would be my target. And the support is at today's low around 36.75. INPH popped out of its 2-week flag after the big explosion in February. The stock settled back, got quiet. Technicals held up well. Today spiking $1.47 or 28% on more than 1 million shares. That's the strongest in about 3 weeks. Right now, it looks like 8 may be doable very quickly, but ultimately, an intermediate term target appears to be something around 12, believe it or not. That's a substantial gain from here. If you think that one's good, look at KV Pharmaceuticals, KVA, which popped with a big breakaway gap in February, formed a 5-day flag, exploded again, then formed a wedge. That was broken out, but this time slowly, and today it accelerated 312 or 31%, 7.5 million shares, the heaviest volume in about 3 weeks. Looks to me like a possibility exists that if the angle of ascent remains and continues with strong volume, we could see a move up towards the 1920 zone, maybe as high as 21. That's outstanding. It's a big move from here, and wouldn't put it past it to do that. Short-term support on this one would be somewhere around the 8.5 level. That's a long way from here. Let's call it 9. Moving on. PKT, I like the way this acts. After the swing trade idea of ours down here moved up to the swing trade level and fulfilled it, it's now backing and filling here. But today jumping 52 cents or 5% on 219,000 shares. If it gets through this 10.5 area, I'm looking for a quick move to 12. That's my short-term target, secondary target at 14. This stock looks substantially higher and has a beautiful base to support it. This is a key resistance level right here. As you can see, going back 3 years. If taken out, wouldn't shock me to see the stock around 16, 16.5 on my secondary target after 13 is reached. Short-term support remains around $8. Revlon. Well, I'm starting to really like this ascending wedge. And look at this quiet, narrow action the last week and a half. Low volume, great technicals. A move above 1530 should be bought for move to 18. Short-term support would be down around the $13 range. Sturm Ruger, the gun maker, exploded 2 weeks ago and has been running ever since. Little flag formed last week. Stock has been accelerating to the upper 74 cents or 4%. Looks to me like more upside may be had, and 22 is my trading target. Short-term support around 18, 18.25. Our PRX flagging beautifully in here. 4 or 5 day pennant, low volume, great technicals, and a solid trend, and it's flagging near overhead resistance right at it. So a breakthrough here, you can see a spike up that takes us up to upwards of 8 3/4, 9. My next target for RPRX. Short-term support should it break down is around 5. Let's make that 5, 5.25, 5.5. SCON. Well, we had a big pop early February. It backed and filled and formed a beautiful 1-month-long coil, and then exploded 4 days ago, only to back off here and form another wedge. If this wedge is taken out to the upside, I could see $5 in the stock short-term. Short-term support around the $3, $3.10 range. SGI, swing trade idea of ours, fulfilled that target and continues to go up, reaching 819.5 today plus, closing at 18.99, up 51 cents. But it appears that momentum can carry this one towards the $22 range, my short-term target, maybe even as high as mid-20s if it gets fine and accelerates here. SPPI, I wanted to point out this pattern because I like the way it looks. It's a strong run in December, pulled back in January, nice run up again in February to test a high, and with a strong volume pop. Pulled back, test the moving average and trend line, formed a little wedge. Today popped 24 cents or 3.5%. Volume picked up to the best level in 3 weeks. If we get through the 7.25 range, look for a strong surge on this one. Could take us to 9 plus, maybe even as high as 10. And lastly for today is TIII. TIII Network Technologies. We spotted this when it broke out in November and wedged. It broke out again and flagged. Popped again and flagged, and this stock then went into this 2-month consolidation. But today, multiple tops were taken out with a thrust. The stock jumped 17.2% on 1.4 million, the biggest volume in 2 months. Technical search and new highs for the year. This looks like a stock that wants to go higher than the top of the channel. Right now, that measures about 4.5, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this at 5.5 or 6 over the short term. And that's it for tonight. Some great ideas. Be careful out there. The market does look a little toppy in its own, and it's going to be interesting to see what the indices will do in the next few days as we're at what I consider a key point in the trend. Good night.